I have been doing a little bit of studying around emotional marketing, and I'm going to just share a little bit. What is it? Why do you need it? And I've got some tools and resources. And emotional marketing is a way of persuading your audience by means of an emotional response or trigger. Deliberate use of persuasive messages that tap into the human emotion. So you think, oh, this is what marketing is, right? So yeah, you want to have what you post resonate with people. Everybody knows that, but how can you make sure that the way that you are reaching out to people is going to resonate as well? So let's talk a little bit about the emotional marketing side of things. It's just some statistics. Ads with an above average emotional response from consumers caused a 23% increase in sales as opposed to average ads, according to a Nielsen study. You become more memorable. Your content is more shareable. It influences purchasing decisions and builds customer loyalty, all of this stuff. If you think about when you are browsing social media or you're watching a commercial on television, those things that make you want to go out and do something, take action, or the video that goes viral. Why does it go viral? It touches on some kind of emotion. It's fear, something scary that could happen. Do you remember the Volkswagen Jetta did a Safe Happens campaign where they were showing you what can happen with accidents and stopping, and then but you're in a Jetta. So they play on that fear. Something terrible could happen to my family, and this car is going to protect my family. Well, that campaign itself ended up with a 17% increase in Jetta sales. Anger, where you need to take action. Something is unfair, unjust. There's a campaign always turned gender bias into Hit Like a Girl. And it was all about empowering females, right? That plugged into the action and anger of that, hey, we need to change this, do something about it. We saw Coca-Cola use Choose Happiness campaign, and that rose an index of 8.2% for their brand as a result of that when that campaign was going on. I can remember the Coca-Cola, have a Coke and a smile, get involved in our emotions, the sense of belonging, shared interest, and having a common bond. That is something that marketers try to also tap into. The fear of missing out, or buy one, get one free. I don't want to miss that. I've got to go and buy this item, and there's a limited time offer or something like that. So these are some of the emotions that we pulled together. Well, I started thinking, well, how can I tie some of the emotions into what I'm writing? How am I going to be able to express that? I was trying to write good headlines for a Facebook ad. That's how this all started. And I came across this tool, which I'm going to share with you. It is a headline analyzer. And the headline analyzer said, put your headline in here and we'll tell you the emotional marketing value of your headline. What do they mean, emotional marketing value? Well, a certain percentage of the English language is made up of emotional words. So how many of those emotional words does your headline or Facebook post or Instagram post or caption to a video, right? You think about all the places. What about an email subject line? So I went to this headline analyzer and I started just putting some things together. Here's the link to the headline analyzer. And this free tool, you receive an emotional marketing score. And what I found is I am really bad at emotional marketing. My posts were always very logical, very matter of fact, and it didn't really elicit emotional responses at all. Also way too wordy. I started trying to come up with some posts around my self-publishing course. Okay. So a proven system for publishing your children's book. I thought, oh, that's kind of a nice headline, right? So if we submit this for analysis 12.50%. Let's look at this for a second. This score indicates that your headline has a total of 12.5% emotional marketing value. To put that into perspective, the English language contains approximately 20% EMV words. Most professional copywriters' headlines will typically have 30 to 40% EMV words in their headlines. I went back and forth, just kept reanalyzing things. I started playing around with this and thinking, what are the emotional words? Tell me more. How can I learn more? Marketing words that tap into emotion, obsession, surging. So you can see this one, these are general emotional words, marketing words that tap into fear, marketing words that imply urgency, something scarce, it's exclusive, it's limited, marketing words that show value. So I've got at least a half a dozen different lists like this. Let me just play around a little bit with this. Ready to write a children's book and get it published? Ask a question. Is that going to resonate with people? Well, it did better than my 12%. And see on this headline analyzer, it also shows you we've determined your headline appeals equally to people's spiritual and intellectual spheres. And it explains each one of these spheres. Saw that they had the word secrets and step by step. What can I do to give a little bit of promise of what this process is going to be like working with me? And so I put, you will learn every step of the self-publishing process and have access to tools and templates to simplify the process. From an emotional perspective, let's see what the headline analyzer says. Now I'm up to 40%. Are you confused by the volume of information on self-publishing a children's book? Maybe I could tap into some emotions about the frustration that they're going to. 46% emotional marketing value. Now, remember that 30 some odd percent is really good for marketing, right? So I'm doing something good here. One of the articles told me short and sweet. When you're getting in touch with emotions, the more you say, the more people have to read, the less it's going to impact them. So now I'm going to put, are you confused by the volume of information? Look at that, 62.5% now. Trying to think about my audience. What type of emotions are my authors feeling? What about my readers? What are they going through? When I write a social media post, I don't want to write it as a matter-of-fact robot. I feel like that intellectual side of me and just the matter-of-fact stuff I was writing isn't going to make people want to follow or share or feel a close bond with me. So I'm trying to start sharing a little more about myself, using more emotional language. When I look at one sentence over another, it doesn't come easily to me to say, oh, that's the right one. So I'm using this analyzer as an opportunity to break things down. If I'm writing a blog post, I'm using certain key terms within the blog post. I'll analyze them separately and try to see if I can create something that's going to be more impactful for my audience and in the long run, better for me. The one individual just kept coming up with these terms and trying things for her book. And she was getting 70 something percent. And it was very natural for her. For me, it's not natural. It's just not natural. So I'm learning and I'm studying the words and the different pieces of emotional marketing. And it just makes sense to me when I read a post on social media where somebody's sharing their personal story and they're so excited something is launching, but they share their journey and their why with me. That makes me want to take action. It makes, whether it's a follow, a share, a purchase of a book, right? It's getting in touch with those emotions. So the better that we are, reminding me that I need to open up more. I need to be more vulnerable. I need to understand how I'm writing and whether or not it does even connect with people. Because what is social media all about? Making connections and partnerships with authors, with influencers. And the more that we can use this type of emotional thing that will make somebody open up our email because the subject line resonated with them. It captured their attention. Why? because it had that emotional aspect to it that maybe my normal open rates would never have competed with. So as I start making changes in what I'm doing, I can share results to say, hey, I'm getting this much more followers, this much more engagement. I'm seeing my open rates improve. It makes perfect sense to me that those things would go together. I'm so grateful that I found that tool to be able to practice with.